In light of this new information, Spock, it is only logical that we terminate our main bond.
I don't know if I really love this decision. Over the middle, got his man, and look at him go! Jalen Waddle for the touchdown!
Welcome to Inside Leverage, your gateway to the fascinating realm of the Miami Dolphins. Join us as we delve deep into the team's dynamic Super Bowl journey. We invite you to share your most scorching takes, unwind, and relish in our captivating experience.
He's got him! Tyreek Hill! And the Dolphins have come back!
A big play on the first one! Home run! Play one! To the house! What a start for the Dolphins!
It's Inside Leverage. We always gonna put on a show, baby. That's what we do.
On screen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live and direct.
Get that hell out of my chair.
Coming at you from the Inside Leverage Stronghold. My name is Coach. I'm joined by Finn's mechanic, Wally Wonka, and the one and only Tua Messi Viola. What up, boys?
What it do? How we feeling, boys?
Man?
Hey,
What's
man.
going on?
What's good, Wally?
Wale. Yeah, man. So we're just here hanging out. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Right now, we got 33 people checking us. I don't know, man. It's kind of exciting. Kind of exciting time for us. We're walking into our first wild card weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs with Tua. What are your overall thoughts here before we get joined by our first guest tonight?
I mean, it's a big game, bro. We've been on a 23-year playoff drought. You know what I mean? 24 on the road, like now or never for us. You know what I mean? We've been starved. We've been through it all year after year. You know what I mean? Thinking that we're gonna get over the hill, and this is the time where with Tyreek Hill we can make that happen. You know what I mean?
I totally agree 100%, man. And I think, now is the time we finally got our quarterback. I didn't know that every playoff game, the last two playoff games we had, we were with our second string quarterback. So now we have our starting quarterback in this playoff game. So I'm curious to see how it looks. It was a rough loss last week, but it's gone now. Season's over. It's playoff time. So this is it right here.
Hey, hold on, guys! Shout out to Mr. Samankas with the trademark. Hey, check it out! Wait, we're finally joined by French. I think he was backstage getting his makeup done.
Let's go. We locked in. Y'all locked in?
Oh, we've been locked in.
Hey, let's go. Playoff times, right?
Oh yeah.
This is when you earn your money. This is when you earn your legacy. Let's get it. They told us it don't matter what we do in the regular season. It only matters what you do in the playoffs. We here. My quarterback ain't got no losing record in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Ain't got no wins either. But it's gonna happen Saturday night.
I think so, French. I think so.
Let's get it. Yes, sir.
What the heck was that?
Hey, but how y'all feeling, man?
I think I'm ready. I feel ready to go. Like I'm done. Got past what happened. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I feel like my Dolphin self. Confident, ready to go, ready to prove ourselves that we can win a playoff game finally for a long time. So I'm ready. I'm excited. I watched the games. I listened to people speak. I spoke to you guys. A lot of good things that can happen. A lot of good things that can't. A lot of things that can't happen. But I think ultimately, if we do our thing, I think we can win this game. We can win this game. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
That's the kind of attitude I got to hear, man.
We got this, bro. Like, listen. listen, the injuries and everything else, bro, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? I get it. Kansas City on the road, it's cold. I get it. But what better story? You know what I mean? Like, what better path for us to take to legitimize ourselves? Because anything else, it would have been in an excuse or some type of validity to why we did what we did, and they would have made it all about why the other team didn't get it done. You know what I mean? So now you put us in a position where it's impossible task presented in front of us. So if we were to overcome in this position, you can't doubt us. What you gonna say?
I agree.
They can't discredit the Super Bowl champ, right? They can't discredit Mahomes. They told me Mahomes the GOAT. And with some of these other GOATs retiring in the NFL, it's only a few GOATs left. I look in the field, I see Tua, I see Mahomes, I see a couple other guys back there, but my vision not so clear from over here. But let me talk into my game. That playoff game to me is like that precious jewel. You work all year for that moment to get that one opportunity, and this is that playoff. You got to take it. It ain't going to be, that's why they got us playing in the cold. That's why they got us playing in negative 12 degrees. It's because that's what it's going to symbolize when we get it. And they can't take it from us once we get it.
Shout out to the homie Mike, my boy. But yeah, man, this is where we at. This is our path. Wally, what you got, man? How you feeling, Wally?
Yeah, we up, man. Let's go. We up.
Yeah, man, this is the moment we all been waiting for, man. It's all come down to this. Like all the chats and the off season about this and that, the day in and day out of spaces, all the podcasts and everything that all the work on going to war on the timeline about this and that. Like this is what the culmination of that is. This that moment.
But Chad,
23 years.
But Chad, we've been talking about it. What's our record against the Chiefs in the playoffs? Listen. They might say that's no correlation, but if we win, what's the correlation? What's the correlation? Now listen, I know they probably like French. I know you're somewhere on your tequila. Allegedly. But what I will tell you is correlation and causation intersect. You know what that's called? A dolphin win.
Hey, hold on, guys. Hey, on that note, I want to welcome our first guest, Greg.
What's up, guys?
Hold on.
What's up, Greg? Thanks for joining us.
Make sure I don't butcher your name here. Is it Greg Florkowski?
That was great.
Hey,
that was perfect. Let's go.
That's that Miami-Dade education, baby.
That's all I'm talking about.
Hey, man, listen. Hey, warm welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, man, and we appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, but we really wanted to get the Kansas City perspective on this huge game coming up for us. Wild card weekend, Dolphins, Chiefs, in the frozen tundra. What's your perspective, man? What are you expecting here?
Well, first, you guys brought up earlier about the last time I think the Dolphins were in the playoffs. If I remember correctly, Matt Moore was the quarterback, and he got absolutely wrecked. Like, I remember that game. Like, he literally, I think he died on the field, like, straight up. Like, there was like one tackle on the sideline where I swear.
We're starting spicy, I see.
Yeah. Well,
you're not
make
far
the
off.
most of this one.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you guys got me hyped for this game already. I'm like, all right, this sounds like a hell of a game coming up. But no, looking forward to the game. As far as like the frozen tundra, I think this happened. Was it what was the last time Tua played in the cold? He just kind of shook it off, and if I remember correctly, he did just fine. I think it was up in Buffalo. He played a cold game. And,
correct, in Buffalo.
So no
yeah, no one's. I don't think anyone's actually truly worried about the tundra. I mean, the only people who should be worried are the fans because it's gonna be cold. I was just out there 2 weekends ago for the New Year's Eve game, and I'll tell you what, the seats are not heated, so it's really cold. But with the field being heated and like the sidelines being heated, but I want to worry about the tundra as far as how the game's going to go.
But this is another level of coldness because everybody's been hyping up negative 330 or something like that in the negatives. I know that there now technology has prepared for situations like this, but do you feel still that it'll be like teams will be affected, particularly us? A lot of that's the narrative coming out. Dolphins, people down south don't do well in the cold. So do you feel now, being that this is going to be one of the most coldest in the negative, even with technology and how they prepare for that situation, you think still will be affected by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Michael Irvin said it best today. Actually, it's going to be kind of both teams will be affected with how hard that football is whenever you have to kind of catch that ball. So I think that's kind of who's going to be affected by this. I mean, some of the players will be cold, but once you get into a game, I feel like your body warms up and you'll be all right. Where I kind of worry on both sides, especially the Kansas City side, is the receivers catching that ball because it's going to be so hard. But I mean, well, that's kind of the only issue I see with it being that cold is catching that hard football.
Well, let me ask you this, Greg. Let's get into it. You mentioned the receivers catching the ball. You mentioned kind of this playoff. This is Mahomes. This is when the stakes kind of ratcheted up. How do KC lose this game? We can go with Mahomes and Kelsey and putting up massive, but with what's been going on from the wide receiver unit, do you put it all on the wide receiver unit? Does any of it fall on play calling? How much it falls on Patrick Mahomes being the leader? How much of it falls on Andy?
Yeah, I mean, in Kansas City especially, the wide receiver room has been a huge point of emphasis for us because it seems like every time we do anything, they mess it up for us. I swear to God. Anytime, if you look back at the Chiefs' schedule, I could be modest in saying we could be 14-3. I mean, depending on some of the way that the receivers messed up this season. I mean, let's go back to the Buffalo game, the Kadarius Toney offsides call. Like that's a Travis Kelce to a Kadarius Toney touchdown. I mean, the Bills could go back and win that game, but my money's on the Chiefs with that defense. Go back to the Packers game. I mean, the Packers did beat us that entire game, but at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes, MVS, there was a chance to win that game. MVS dropped the ball. There was no pass interference call. That's neither here nor there, but MVS did drop the ball. I mean, go back to the week 1 Detroit Lions. We have a chance to run down the field and get a field goal to win that game. Kadarius Toney drops the ball. I mean, I saw it 2 weekends ago at the Bengals game. The Chiefs were driving down, and MVS goes out for an easy out route. I swear to God, from where I was standing, he caught the ball, was going in for a touchdown, but then I looked over and the ball was on the ground. So I think the receivers is still going to be a problem. But the way the Chiefs lose this game, going back to your first question, same way we lost every game. There's going to be some untimely penalties, putting us behind the first and 20s, first and 30s, second and 20. And then it's going to be those untimely drops by MVS because I guarantee we're going to keep throwing deep to him. He's going to keep dropping them. But then the big thing that's been rearing its head, especially lately, is those untimely interceptions and then fumbles. Mahomes has been fumbling in the dumbest places. Against the Bengals, you fumbled near our end zone, so they had an easy touchdown. Then I think the weekend before against Buffalo, but there's another game recently. He's also just fumbled the ball right near the end zone. Oh, wait, I know a good time. I just watched the games. Last time we played the Dolphins in Germany, he fumbled the ball on the 20. And so you guys easily went and got a touchdown. And so that's how we lose this game is those 3 or 4 things. And I don't think it's out of the question. But I do think that's how we lose. I don't think we will because it's playoff football, and no one knows playoff football better than Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But if you to answer your question, that's how we lose that game.
Well, the last time around, right, we did a pretty good job of keeping Travis Kelce in check. Honestly, we've struggled with tight ends a lot this season. That was probably their best performance against a tight end, especially of that caliber, I've seen in a long time. What did the Dolphins do, and what do you expect for the Chiefs to do to kind of get him going this weekend?
Ooh, man. Man, Travis Kelce, that's been he's one of my favorite players for the longest time for obvious reasons. He's the best. But I mean, you've seen it all season. Everyone's like, "Oh, Travis is washed up." Well, he was 16 yards away from his 8th consecutive 1,000-yard season. He's still a Pro Bowl player, All Pro player, so he's still Travis Kelce. But the biggest issue is teams are double teaming him. And then really, I just feel like there's no one else to take away from him. I mean, Rashee Rice is not finally, he stepped up to a place where teams got to start paying attention to him. But when you take Rashee Rice and then Travis Kelce, I mean, that's all you got to focus on because MVS is going to drop the ball and Sky Moore is going to run into Travis Kelce or Andy Reid on the sideline. So that's kind of how Travis Kelce's been so bottled up is because we have no answers to throw to anyone else.
All right, great. Thank you for your time, man. I have a two-part question. How comfortable are you with your tackles, given that one of those guys is out for concussion protocol? And what is your identity, man? Because these games are just sheer identity. You could go back to the years, you guys, Patty Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Speedster, the good stuff. But now it's his tough defense, run the ball, maybe find Travis Kelce at situational football. So what's your identity going forward into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think you hit on it pretty good. It's gonna be that great defense that's been really holding this team together for the entire season. But man, the last couple weeks, this last month of the season, Pop Pacheco, baby. Pop Pacheco is gonna show you he's got something coming for you. I promise you that. That's gonna be your problem going on Saturday. Pop has been running. I mean, pick a meme, running like the kid trying on shoes at the store, like the kid who got the Mario star. I mean, yeah, yeah, high knees, baby. Yeah, no, Pop's been killing it for us, and I think if we win this game, I think Pacheco's gonna have a huge night. But it's not just in the run game anymore. Against Cincinnati, he was well involved in the passing game, kind of playing that hybrid player that we kind of want him to be, kind of keeping the Edwards-Helaire off the field. Jerick McKinnon's out. And so we got to fill that void. And I think Pop's he's done a really good job filling that void. But really, and also Rashee Rice, that boy's killing it in the screen game right now. He can take the ball behind the line of scrimmage and just run it. But then the big thing, after watching the Chargers game last week, I now have a strong feeling that Mecole Hardman is going to play a big role in the game on Saturday. He's going to be that receiver, that gadget player, because Kadarius Toney is either his ankles are broken, his heart's broken, his brain's broken, or his hands are broken. Something's broken at all times with that man. Andy Reid already said if he does play, it's going to be in limited capacity. I hope that limitation is going to be water boy. But we can all hope here. I think Mecole is going to be that guy who plays that gadget player and that receiver who kind of takes it above and beyond for us.
Yeah, I have a quick one question, and I like how this kind of segued. Speaking to your KC fans yesterday and throughout this whole entire week, they've been telling me about how different Andy Reid and his scheme has been in the playoffs. I know that during the seasons before this season, you guys have always been phenomenal, and it hasn't looked the same this past season. But you still got it done. You're still in the playoffs. You still won your division. What is it that Andy Reid does so different in the playoffs that teams just don't hone in on? You know what I'm saying? Because you think you understand what he's going to do, and then he just brings something totally, completely different. So in your mind, if you could let us know, what is it that he does that's just different and that keeps him going, keeps him winning?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's like anything crazy different. I think he's one of those guys who he empties the bag for the playoffs. You know, nothing gets left on the table. He breaks out a couple different route concepts and maybe breaks out some players that weren't always featured throughout the regular season. But man, I'll tell you, it's not just Andy Reid. It's playoff Patrick Mahomes. I can go through so many games in these playoffs with Patrick that the play is broken down and he just makes something happen that's crazy. One of the greatest memories I have of this example is we're playing the Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship game a couple of years ago, and he was the end of the half. We were trying to get a field goal, and I don't know if you guys remember, but he goes and he runs it it was like a 5-yard gain all the way. It was a huge gain. He's running over people. doing spin moves, jukes, all that stuff, all the way get down. And that's kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's not just Andy Reid. It's also those extra effort plays that come out in the playoffs. Or against the Bengals last year, the boy had a broken ankle, sprained ankle. Jury's out if it was real or not. I'm just kidding, it's real. And he we needed a field goal. The boy ran for almost 15 yards, get pushed out of the sidelines. But of course, then the flag came from the late hit. But for me, it's not just Andy Reid. I think once again he kind of empties the bag on the game plan. But it's really just Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They kind of just show out in the playoffs. But one thing in the last couple of years has happened that is always interesting is somebody always shows up that wasn't expected. Last year's MVS out of nowhere just started catching bombs, especially in that Cincinnati game, just catching bombs. And I mean, he dropped stuff like the same in the regular season and started making catches. So to answer your question, I don't know about Andy Reid other than he's a genius on the offensive side, but really it's just playoff Pat. And it's kind of, I mean, the stats speak for themselves when it comes to the playoffs.
Greg, I want to stay along those lines as far as coaching is concerned, obviously, because I'm a coach. What can you speak on Spagnuolo, man? He's really impressed me with the way he's improved you guys' defense and pretty well established and highly ranked defense. I know when we played in Germany, it was the blitz packages and whatnot were really affecting the way our offense worked. What have you seen, or do you expect to see the same sort of game plan against us, even though the weather conditions are not going to be optimal?
Yeah, I mean, Spags, he's the last 2 seasons, he's ever since coming to Kansas City, he's been awesome for us. The defense is slowly progressed throughout. Well, through each season, the defense usually gets better and better, heading into the postseason where they dominate usually. This year, they started off great. And are still great. And so that's kind of what I wonder for the postseason, if they continue to be amazing, if they take a step back. But I have a strange feeling that they're going to continue that dominance that they've shown throughout the season. One thing that's interesting about the last time we played is our linebacker Nick Bolton was out. He was out for 4 weeks with I think it was a wrist. So we had Drew Tranquil was the guy in for that, he played awesome. But once again, going to playoff football, that team's been there. They know how to handle those conditions. Spags has them wired for the playoffs, and I think they're going to do really well. Chris Jones, he doesn't have the sacks that he would like, but he's got 10 sacks on the season. George Karlaftis got 10 sacks on the season. Our defensive line they're hungry. They get after the quarterback. They're doing really well against the run as well. And then that back end with L'Jarius Sneed, McDuffie, Edwards, I think this defense is poised for a deep playoff run as long as the offense can help them get there.
I agree. My only issue is the way, obviously, which we've already gone over, is the offense. How your offense has really sputtered, and how Mahomes has looked pretty frustrated, pretty flustered with his wide receivers.
Well, let me ask you this, Greg. Do you think this is a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game, if I'm gonna be honest. I just got done watching a couple of games. I watched our Germany game. I watched that, and then I also watched the game from you guys last week, the Buffalo game. I was a Dolphins fan last weekend. I was hoping you guys would pull that out. Sadly, I was pretty disappointed. But kind of what I was watching that got me pretty interested was, dude, your injuries on your guys' side. I don't know. This could turn into a blowout quickly, depending on how those injuries are addressed. Van Ginkel, I don't know if enough people are talking about Van Ginkel being out this week, but that's a huge staple in your defensive line. But also, obviously, Chubb being out, Phillips being out, and the one thing I want to bring up was Melvin Ingram was in coverage last week. Bro, if you put Melvin Ingram on any of our boys, cooked. I'm telling you right now, cooked. Dalton Kincaid showed him what's up. If that was a better ball, that was a touchdown. So
yeah, I don't think that was a good idea on Vic's part, but you know.
But you guys brought in Justin Houston, and
might be the revenge game. Might be the revenge game. You never know.
I'll tell you what. Last time Justin Houston played Kansas City, he was a part of the Indianapolis Colts, and yeah, he came back. He may be older, but he got his. We lost that game. Justin Houston had a couple sacks, made it our life hell. But I hope that age has hit him hard, but we'll see. But
how convenient, huh? Not this week, right?
yeah, this week he'll be fine. Watch, you just watch. He's gonna have he'll get his sacks. So we'll be like, why did you go to 4 other teams? What is going on with Justin Houston? You just got sent out of Carolina. What? All right, cool. Just come wreck shop on the Kansas City for a little bit.
It means more now. It's gonna mean more to him now. You know what I mean? Going back, sending you guys back home, man.
All right,
I hope not.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so let's wrap this up here. I know we got somebody coming up soon. Give me some predictions. I want to hear your prediction, Greg.
All right, I'm going to say this game is going to be.
Wait, but hold on. Let me give you a caveat. You got to be honest.
Honestly, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yes, honest.
Yeah, no.
We like
honesty
here. No. We like
honesty my
here.
prediction for you. No, so I truly think this game is going to be real close. I think it's going to be a 21-17 game. Kansas City.
Okay,
I do.
I can respect that. I got
a 21-17 the other way. Don't worry about it. Be good. We on the same way.
Hey, the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
It's in the middle there, man. Yeah. Maybe a tie. Who knows? I don't know.
Hey, you never know.
Hey, man, when you talk about injuries, it sounds kind of weird, but hey, man, we gonna make it happen.
Oh boy! All right, man. Hey, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's gonna be a good game. I'm really excited about this one. You guys' running game is something that is really good. Moser, you guys didn't have Achane last time we played, and so that's kind of the if I had an X
or water.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I saw this today when I was watching this game. Your boy Tua is going to get your receivers killed. I'll tell you right now. Like some of those crosses that come over the middle, I'm telling you, Tyreek. Every time he comes off the field, I swear, he's hurting. He's hurting somewhere.
Yeah, it's we actually had a conversation on our last episode last night, or I think it was released today about that. But okay. we have our theories on that, but we'll see. To us, to some of us, it's that the linebackers are just dropping back and closing up the gap between the safety and the linebacker. So other people in this group in this room, I won't name any names, is that he's just a little off. So it might be somewhere.
The ones that I saw where he almost got his head taken off, that ball was way too high and Tyreek was trying to jump up. And there's one, I think it was the end of the Buffalo game, and he went up to get it, and I swear to God, that corner safety was about to kill Tyreek. Yeah. And when the ball goes up that high and a 5'10" man has to jump 5 feet in the air to grab it.
Yeah, exactly. You're exposing him. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that boy's exposed. But hey, it was great talking to you guys. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Good luck. I appreciate it. We'll talk, and just good luck, but not this weekend. No luck this weekend.
We'll with a victory, man. Don't worry about it.
Greg, I gotta take it from you.
All right, boys. You have a good night.
You too, Greg. Thanks, man. Appreciate it,
my brother. Oh man, you're welcome for carrying the show.
Wow, seriously.
It's just me.
We gonna call him. We gonna call him Wally Smythe.
Wow. I just carry the show, B. It's whatever. I just pull up and do my thing. You feel me? It's whatever. Who's next, man? I'm ready. Who next? You know what I'm talking about?
Let me check this. Let's keep this rolling here.
I see y'all stealing my takes. It's insane. We back at it again. It's insane how y'all stealing my takes.
Bro, listen, this is a one entity. Your takes is our takes. We are one.
Yeah, I just
that's how it is. That's just how it is.
French, you didn't even split the fan base. You contagious. You got the whole fan base. I hate your stealing takes. I love French. It's insane. It's insane.
What the dog doing?
I just want to understand why y'all stealing my takes. Now. See how my homie was talking about Tua being off, but I'm crazy.
Yeah, you are crazy.
He didn't mention the linebackers. He just mentioned Tua trying to get y'all killed.
Of course, he's not gonna say anything,
well,
man. He's looking up for Tyreek, bro.
We did not ask
Hold
for
on.
detail. We did not ask.
Oh
for
my
detail.
God! Who the hell cares?
Wow.
I feel like
Where's
I was
Andy
ready
at,
to
man?
ask him, but we were running out of time. We got to get to the next.
Because
I was gonna ask him.
Because of French.
Well, why you blaming French, bro?
Because French had like 35 questions in one question. Like,
but that's him, bro. Like
every time French had a question, look, I'd be like, yo, I have a 2-part. French just asked a question, then when he answered, but hold on. Now that you
hold on.
Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's dive into that.
No. Wait. When French goes that, he comes on, he goes,
remix.
Hold on.
Josh.
Hey, what's good?
Yo.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Good, man. Good. We're having a good time here, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the one and only Josh Moser, friend of the show. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
Josh, man. What are you talking about?
Oh man,
all right, man. Go ahead.
No, I literally just walked in my front door. Welcome to the crib in the city. Just got back from Dolphins practice. Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
So before we get into it, what'd you see over there today?
He's not wearing the suit today. Yeah, I mean,
I see that.
He's working. Let's go.
Well, you want good news? You want bad news? What do you guys want to talk about?
I just want the truth.
Let's start the bad news first. Bad news first.
Give us the truth and nothing but the truth.
The truth is you are probably most likely without starting safeties Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott this weekend on top of Xavier Howard. Jalen Waddle can barely move. And I would be hard-pressed to see if he could play.
Wow,
that's insane.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Wait a minute. So what did you see specifically with Waddle? Like, was he wincing? Like, what was he doing?
So we were there for the first like half-hour practice, which is a walkthrough. There's no pads, and I'm talking like a quick 5-step out route. That cut, nope. Nope. Limping immediately afterwards. Heavy tape on the ankle. Now, vitamin T is everybody's best friend, Toradol, but the question is, all right, are you going to use Waddle? You got to win the game. But I mean, what's the long-term damage? He's going into his 4th year. We don't know if they'll pick up a 5th-year option. I'm assuming that they would. I think he's the best number 2 receiver in the NFL. He's a number 1 receiver on 2/3 of the NFL teams.
Agreed.
But we're talking about an Arrowhead Stadium that is going to be freezing cold.
Yeah, man.
The ground is going to be so hard, and he makes his living cutting. I don't know. It's going to be really, really tough to see him play.
How about Moser? How did Moser look?
Raheem said yesterday he's going to give it a go. So he should be playing. I don't see any reason that they hold him out. He was very confident that he's like, I've missed the last 2 weeks. I was held out of the last game. I wanted to play the last game, but this is it. And the good news about Raheem, I don't know if you guys remember when he was on the 49ers. I was covering the Packers at the time. And he torched the Packers in the NFC Championship game to send San Francisco to the Super Bowl, ran for like 200-plus yards, made a name for himself. So, I mean, he's the guy. I mean, it's going to be him, Jeff Wilson, Alec Ingold. And, that's who you run with the backfield. I actually like Chris Brooks. I know nobody's talking about him. He's your big downhill running back. So I think he's got to be used in this game plan. I know everyone's talking about Devon Achane, but if you can't get this ball outside, you might have to give it to Brooks and try to run this thing off the guards in between the tackles.
What about Achane?
Achane's good. He was cramping in the last game. So, he'll be a big part of the game plan. But, I mean, if it's windy, I think they're talking about 30-mile-an-hour winds. Like, forget the cold. If it's windy.
Yeah, it's whipping up. You can't. Yeah.
You can, and if you guys have ever been to Arrowhead, it's like a velodrome. Like, it's a tornado on the inside. Oh. It's hollow. So all the cold and the wind just comes right in. So, that'll swirl. I mean, I don't even know if a team's going to try a field goal. Like, I'd be very curious to see how bad the conditions are with what these forecasters are saying. This thing's going to be like ice bowl levels of crazy weather.
The frozen tundra.
Yeah.
All right. You said he had good news. What are the good news?
Yeah. What is the good news? I feel like just like hanging myself now after this.
No. The good news is I know the pass rush was decimated, but people are super high on both Bruce Irvin and Justin
Really?
Houston. Super high. Like, so, I mean, you bring those two in, you're talking 100-plus combined sacks experience. You remember Houston played at KC. He knows the stadium.
Right.
But Irvin looks legit. And
nah, I don't believe that. Are you serious?
Hey, man.
Legit. Now, we didn't see him go live action, but in the drills, legit.
Okay. See, now I feel a little better. Okay.
It's gonna be a defensive struggle, man. I think they'll hand the ball off 40 times and play good defense. Let's go, man. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. Oh, more good news. Rob Hunt, healthy, good to go. So, like, we actually have an offensive line.
Let's go.
So,
hey,
I think that's probably the best thing because he didn't play the last time they played the Chiefs.
Right? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Fred.
I was gonna say, what do you think about the tight end in this game with the running game and maybe the quick pass? You think the tight end becomes more of a key contributor to this game?
I mean, you have to. I mean, Durham Smythe outside of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, he's their most targeted receiver. I like Julian Hill too, just because of his size. I know he's a rookie, but that's how this, zone read offense works, especially the outside zone when you're trying to get to the outside. So the question is the footing. Like, this is why Connor Williams is a big loss, but like Liam Eichenberg, like there's plays where Jason Kelsey, the center for the Eagles, you see him hike the ball and then pull and then somehow get out in front. Liam ain't doing that. So sorry, that's not happening.
No. Wait.
There's a reason why they're laughing. They're laughing
because Mechanic loves this guy, man.
Listen,
he is like the head of the fan club, and I gotta give it to him because he's loyal. But
I'm a Liam Eichenberg fan. I love him to death. But
I know his limitations, and I know that he is not gonna pull, but he's more so combo blocks to the linebacker as opposed to being athletic. So I think that's where the inside zone to outside zone runs.
Yeah.
Or specific, not the inch, like the unique runs. I don't think he can do that. He just can't. Yeah. But what I was gonna say is due to the what and hopefully things will get better with Waddle. We're hoping for a miracle. It seems like now Tua needs to focus on trying to distribute the ball to other receivers, not just Tyreek, because I think Tyreek needs other guys to eat so he can eat, because that's why we have Waddle. So in your mind, how do you see the other receivers in practice? Do they seem motivated to kind of be that number two, like Cedric Wilson, or maybe get that redemption like Chase Claypool? Because, the last two games he hasn't been good. So is there any motivation from that side of the ball for them?
I'm sorry. I know that Josh is not. I'm not gonna say not a fan. But the last time we spoke to him, he wasn't really too convinced with what Claypool was doing.
Claypool, and he was right. Thank you.
He was right. Yeah, Josh was right. I gotta say, he was right.
You were right.
Oh, man, my light died. Damn. All right, so
it's all right, man.
Okay. Well, that. Where do you want to start there? There's a lot to unpack in that.
Well, I just want to see where's the motivation for the other receivers, because
these guys are motivated. I mean, yeah, these guys are motivated. It's not that. Is Tua going to trust anybody else?
Bingo.
Right now, Tyreek is the only guy that he trusts. And you go back to the interception in the last game. Where was Tyreek? He was on the sideline. And you're throwing an out route into double coverage to Chase Claypool, who's caught one pass all season, who doesn't know how to line up, who literally does not know the playbook, or he's so scared that he's going to screw something up. Mentally, he's not ready. Like that's your play to basically tie the game. Tyreek was on the sideline. He walked straight off the field. He was pissed.
Furious.
He was so frustrated.
Yeah.
But this is where Mike McDaniel has to do his thing. And if Tua is a great quarterback, to me, there are three elite quarterbacks in this league. And Tua, if he wants to take that next step, this is a game that he has to play really, really well and show that he can lead a game-winning drive. We saw it in the opening week against the Chargers. We saw it in Baltimore last season. But outside of that, we really haven't seen it. And we want to see that from him. But yes, you have to get the ball and spread it out. And that's where Mike McDaniel comes in. Tua's got to go through his progressions. We got to get him off of his first look, take the 5 yards to Braxton Berrios, take the 5 yards to River Craycraft coming off a block, find Cedric Wilson, who's got single coverage, instead of force feeding it to Tyreek, who's running the over the middle route, and you got to thread the needle in between two defenders when the wind's swirling, 30 miles an hour. So you have to find balance on offense. And that's where Jalen Waddle comes in, because you can't play single high safety. You got to put 2 back. You got to play in a 2 shell. That opens everything up over the middle, which has been their whole game plan. But we saw what happened with the Bills week when they went to single high safety. They basically shut it down because they brought somebody else into the box. That's why they had 7 rushing yards, but 2 couldn't find anybody else to throw the ball to. So they've got to create separation. They've got to know the playbook, and they've got to get to where they need to be. And when it's cold outside, it's that much harder. It's your mind goes. It's tough. You really have to be on your P's and Q's and execute. And we're going to see if that happens. But yes, Tua has to distribute the ball. And honestly, I haven't seen this at practice. I would love to see Devon Achane in the slot.
Yes.
Man, we've been talking about.
I would love to see it.
I have one more question. One more question. 1 through 5. Who is your? Let's put Waddle on the side because it doesn't look good. So 1 through 5, from trust to least trust in your mind. Who is 1 through 5?
1 is Tyreek, 2 is Durham Smythe, 3 is Cedric Wilson, and then I think you have a huge drop off from there. Braxton Berrios is open multiple times, and Tua just doesn't find him. Now, I don't know if that's because he doesn't trust him or if Tua doesn't go through that far in his read. I'm just being honest with you.
That's fair.
What happened with Craycraft? They had a connection.
That's what I was thinking.
What happened to that?
I was hoping he was on the top 3, and it's interesting.
So Rivers has kind of fallen out. I mean, was kept on this roster more of a blocking receiver. That was his strength, and that's what he was used for. But, I mean, we haven't seen anybody else step up, to be honest with you. Claypool hasn't shown anything. Eric Azukama hasn't played. He's done with his neck injury. You hope that he comes back. He was a high draft pick.
That's true.
And, I mean, that's it. Robbie Chosen is up and down. He was coming off the concussion. So, there really isn't any trust. I think your trust at that point is just dinking and diving to Raheem Mostert, who he has a lot of trust in, Jeff Wilson, and a lot of trust in Achane. So, I mean, it's your 3 ball carriers in the backfield, and then Tyreek, and then you hope Cedric Wilson with the occasional Durham Smythe. And Julian Hill's been up and down, but outside of that, that's it.
Josh, I know you were in practice. Is there a package? I know we're excited about the new guys, but is there like a Tyndall package? Is Tyndall going to see the field this year outside of special teams?
No.
Jeez Louise.
Nope. Sorry. I mean, I make the bigger argument for Cam Smith. I mean, this guy was supposed to be Xavier Howard's replacement. You've seen Eli Apple get torched repeatedly, and Smith isn't going to find the field. And Vic Fangio is very frank yesterday as to why. And he's basically like, he doesn't know where to be. Mentally, he's not there yet. And he
doesn't trust him.
Doesn't trust him. And, it's the same thing with, well, it's a little bit different. So Fangio is not a fan of Nick Needham. So he's not going to play outside.
What did I tell you guys?
I
told you there's a reason why he wasn't playing him.
Yeah, not a fan of Nick Needham with his skill set. Even though Nick's a good player, but Nick's gone. Yeah, he's gone. I like him. He's a good fit for the Raiders. Depending on what they do with the head coach, but I think the way that the Raiders play defense, I think he's a really good fit there. He's gone. Fangio is not an Emmanuel Ogbah fan at all, simply because Emmanuel doesn't drop into pass coverage, and he has to rush the passer with his hand down. He can't rush from a stance.
Right. We've talked about it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's why they brought everybody in. But I mean, you've got to think he starts on one edge. You're paying him $60 million, and then you start Melvin Ingram on the other side, and then you're going to see what you get from Houston, and you see what you get from Irvin. But I mean, those guys have played. But I mean, the biggest loss, and I hate to say it, is Jerome Baker. Yeah. Jerome Baker's a huge difference maker. You could have put him outside. Now you've got Duke Riley's your only guy in the middle with David Long, and you hope that David Long thumps. I mean, he's got to have a huge mother trucking game And I actually don't mind, Brandon Jones with Elijah Campbell in the backfield. I thought they played really well in the time that they've had together, but there's a huge drop off between Deshaun Elliott and
shout out to Waller for that one.
It's night and day.
Hold on, French. Before we get to that, go ahead, French. Go ahead.
I was gonna say really quick, Duke. I've been a big Duke Riley fan. Like, I know he's not all pro, but he had a little bit of that Van Ginkel in him.
No.
So, I mean, I'm still big. Like, listen, they told me I was splitting the fan base on Zach Sealer.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
So this is what it's really about, Josh. It's not about. It was never about Duke Riley. It was about Zach Sealer. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
But no.
Go ahead.
I bring that up to say, yeah, we're looking at Duke Riley, but Duke Riley at times has made plays and other. Maybe I'm too optimistic on Duke Riley, but we'll see.
I mean, there's a reason why Jerome Baker was immediately put back in the game with a huge knee brace on as soon as possible. The first game that he could come back, even him at 70% is a huge upgrade from Duke Riley, as much as I love Duke Riley. But again, Duke Riley's playing the position that Channing Tindall was drafted for, but he hasn't been able to see the field. I mean, he's a 3rd-round pick. He's supposed to be the guy flying sideline to sideline. That's why they took him there. His combine test was that, but mentally he's not there, which is crazy. I mean, you miss. Like, you're not going to hit on everybody. But yeah, I mean, shoot, you get him production from him. Cam Smith, you took this year. Imagine if Cam Smith was doing what Achane is. Incredible. Incredible. I mean,
that was the hope, right? I mean,
that was the hope. That was the hope. I mean, Cam Smith was the guy. Now, granted, he's like Austin Jackson, who was 20 years old when he was drafted. So they knew that he was going to be a project, but you didn't know that Xavier Howard was going to be done. Hot take on him. He's got a contract out. He may have played his last game as a Dolphin.
I saw that too. Unless he wants to get a restructured, because he's not going to get paid all that money.
No, he's making like $18 million. So, I mean, I see him in the league for, he's 30 years old, probably like for 4 or 5 years. But I mean, they're going to try to get him, $6 to $8 million, which is a huge undercut for him. But I think that's realistically his value as a number 2 corner. And they're going to have to figure out, how to do this with Christian Wilkins and pay everybody else. But we're going to learn a lot in this game. I think this is a big money game. And a guy like Duke Riley, if he plays really well, he's going to get paid.
Speaking of getting paid and all that, what do you think on? I know he's been a staple here, especially on our defense for so many years, and I've always been a big fan of his. But he's obviously declining his X.
Yeah,
we got to do. I mean, that's going to be. We're going to have to come and pay the piper with that one.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got the contract out after this year. He's leads the NFL in interceptions over the last, I think it's like 2019, so 5 years. But he's not the same player that he was. But the player that he is today is still better than 90% of the corners in the league. He's the best number 2 corner in the league when healthy. The question is, can he be healthy? He had the surgery where he's bone on bone in his knees, and they had a cadaver basically put in cartilage. That's been fine. But now Raheem Mostert actually had the same surgery. So that's why he's been able to be good. But that's his knee issue right now. He's actually dealing with that. But, X has got to get healthy. Like, these guys have to stay on the field. I hate to say it, Teron Armstead, with all his injury problems, like, he's been phenomenal. He's been worth every cent. He's played, I think, 10 or 11 games this year. The Dolphins knew that, and he's healthy at the right time. It's just – and everybody got hurt at the worst possible time at the end of the season.
I've never seen this, man. I've never.
Same position.
Brutal.
But this is my bigger thing. Like, when you get an opportunity to step up, you see it in like key moments. Like growing up in South Florida, we had those moments where guys, whether it was U1, whether it was the Hurricanes, whether it was the Heat, step up in key moments. Guys, the underdog, the little guy, like somebody has to step up. Somebody has to do it.
Totally. I mean, that's going to be the difference. Who's the X factor in this game? Who can elevate and be in the moment? Van Ginkel was the guy all season. Nobody projected him to have the season that he had before he got hurt. And Sealer's another one. I mean, shoot, he's got to renegotiate his contract. He's the first player, defensive lineman on the, to get 10 plus sacks. But, you've got to find somebody else, whether it's, especially on offense, it has to be somebody other than Tyreek or Mostert. And we don't know what Mostert's going to give us simply because he hasn't practiced. So Yeah, it's going to be a doozy. You just got to turn the ball over, and you just hope that somebody puts a good shot on Mahomes, and I hate to say it, kind of ends his day early.
Josh, I know you say you was in practice. Like, what's the vibe around the players? Like, what's the general vibe around them?
So yesterday, everybody was like somber. Like, I think they might have just still been tired or still been going through the loss from the Bills. I've never seen a locker room so dejected. Like, it was basically like, we're going to get waxed. We're tired. We're limping in. And now we got to go play in this cold game. And our season's done when we had a chance to be the 1 seed and we let it slip away because we blew it in the last 3 minutes against the Titans. Today, way different. Super loose. Finally got energy. I think that they're getting their energy back because there were a lot more juice today. And I think they're kind of gearing up towards Saturday, and they realize like that this is it. I think it hit them that, oh shit, we looked at the tape. We actually have a chance. I mean, they should have beaten the Chiefs the last time they played them in Germany. They just played terribly. But the MO with this team is when they play these better teams, they make all these mistakes that they never make. So, you can talk about the touchdown last week with Trent Sherfield with the lineman, illegally downfield.
Man, I don't want to.
You can talk about the punt return with Cam Good. That's crazy. I mean, if Van Ginkel was a special teamer, if he's out there, you got a random guy in Cam Good that's not playing a position, so that he blows out his knee, unfortunately, and takes out 2 players, and then you have that result. So it's like the trickle down effect of these mental mistakes that you're just like, oh my God, we never see this type of stuff. But anytime you have weather like this, and you just never know. But this is where Mike McDaniel needs to shine. He needs to elevate. You have enough pieces. You should be able to do something. Now, the Chiefs defense, you got to find Chris Jones. They're the number 2 defense in the league. Spagnuolo's a genius. But I don't care. Like, this is it. Like, do your mad scientist shit. This is why you were brought here. Figure out how to make Tua happy. He can bring his ukulele and, find his spot pregame and whatever. Like, this is go time. And, you want to see it on the field because we haven't seen this team take the next step. And you guys know, I mean, it's been 23 years since a playoff win. Yeah. But 5 weeks ago, there was a 3-game lead on the Bills to win the division. And now we're here. And I think people are sick of the rhetoric. The Dolphins are going to dolphin. And that's unfortunately what we've seen. So here's your chance. So shut everybody up. Yeah. And we'll find out.
Look, I'll tell you this. What gives me a little bit of, I would say, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but what gives me some solace is I remember last year during the playoffs when we had Skyler starting, Mike called a really good game up there in Buffalo.
He did.
So he has his big dog now. I mean, I know that the weather conditions are not the greatest. I think that it's going to be run heavy, considering they have the 19th ranked run defense and we're one of the top run offenses. I expect that. Is Mike going to be disciplined enough to say, let's stick with the run and instead of going away from it for whatever reason, is yet to be seen. But I'm hoping and I'm confident that he'll stick to it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times this season McDaniel, I think it was what was the first loss? Buffalo? I forget. There was like a 4th down late in the game and they threw a fade on 4th and goal to Tyreek.
Oh, yeah.
And he was basically like, yeah, I'm never going to do that again. And then in the next loss, he does the exact same thing.
Jeff Forson.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? And then it was again to
I think
Claypool. It was a Cedric this time, and Claypool got one.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's never worked.
It's just like you can't do this cute stuff. Forget a halfback pass with Achane. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
You know what works.
Yeah.
Get your boy behind Teron Armstead, bounce him outside, let Alec Engel bring the hammer, and just put a hat on a hat and hope that you can break a tackle. That's it. And I mean, shoot, look at the Bills at the end of the game, with the 4th and 1 situations. All you need to average is 2.5 yards a carry. Use your 4th downs, just use it. Control the clock. And then you force a turnover and, you come down to a chance to win it, in the last drive of the game. I mean, that's probably what this is going to be.
And when you talk about putting the hat on the hat, That might need to be the game plan. Ingle, Smythe, Julian Hill, or young guys.
Exactly.
Go
That's
out there and fight. Enough with the cute shit. Go out there. Yeah.
What's your profanity?
That mindset. We need Ingle mindset from these guys. That I need a little lunatic in my offense.
Absolutely. I mean, I would love to run behind Teron Armstead. He's going to clear the way. Rob Hunt's going to clear the way for you. And
let's go.
Jeff Ford saying Chris Brooks. Like, it's so much out there that you could be it's frustrating.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to stick with it.
How many rushing yards win this game?
Ooh. Well, it kind of depends. We'll see how this, like, if they get down by 2 touchdowns, they're throwing the ball. So it's hard to, like, throw a number out there. It just depends on how the game unfolds.
I look at 200-yard game and like 150 from Tua, that should be enough to win.
I see it as rushing attempts.
That's a reverse. You still win that game.
You think the Dolphins are going to have 350 yards of offense in this weather? 150 from Tua and 2 on the ground?
But specifically enforcing the run. We don't really need to throw the ball.
Nah, French. Look, what you need to be able to do in a game like this in the Ice Bowl is run the ball 30 to 40 times. If you're doing that, you won the game.
I think so. Right.
It's ball control.
I think you can. I think you can because you can do an extension of the run, so you're not throwing it too deep so where the wind is affecting it. It's just a matter of yak yards. Can those guys gain 2 to 5 yards?
Yeah, but you're talking about 350 yards in an ice.
No, but 150 off of that. I mean, you can
25 coming on the ground.
Look, bro. Look. Let's get off of Madden and let's play realistic football and realistic playoff football. When you're in a away team, hold on. When you're in a away team, what you're supposed to do is run game travels and defense control the game, right? So you want to run the ball 30 to 40 times, meaning you keep away from having a Justin Houston show his age and anybody else. And all the holes you might have, you get Patty Mahomes off the field, you cover your defense, and you also get commodity with the guys playing, and you control the clock. I don't need no cute 300. Nah, bro, just
1,000%.
That's it.
30 attempts at a $150 doesn't win this game.
That's 5 yards of carry, man.
I think you can get there.
Yeah.
What are you talking
If
about?
I may, I understand what you're saying. But that running game will help the extension of that run, with the short, quick passing. If they're gonna below the box and assume that they're gonna commit to the run, you can do the little cuts, the slant routes that will allow a guy like Tyreek or any of the yak yard receivers catch a quick pass and run for maybe 10 plus yards. That's the 150 right there, or at least 100 yards off the pass.
These are games that you have. These are games that you have your quarterback have. Specifically, a guy like Tua, he's 15 out of 23, 189, 2 tutties, and you have your running back.
That's what he said. 200-yard rushing, 100 to 150-yard pass. It can do it. You can do it.
It's a lot of yards.
It's a lot of yards.
Yeah, a lot of yards.
I don't think it gets that high, man.
I don't think so either.
I hope it does. I hope it does.
I mean,
I think 150 is crazy to say passing yards. It's a lot. I think 150 is a lot. Yeah, bro. It's crazy. Bro, have you heard the weather, man?
Is it going to be like 30 mile? Is it going to be like 30 mile an hour winds?
But the quick pass, and some of those quick ball out your hands count as passing yards.
Hey, French, what you got to understand that you're playing a defense that knows you're going to do that as well. So you also got to take that into consideration. You're playing a top defense, a top pass defense at that as well. So you can't just because they're gonna throw a screen, they're gonna fall for a boo-hoo, the boogeyman. Nah,
we're gonna commit, but they know we're gonna commit to the run too. So I mean, it either way, you gotta strategically.
I remember when it's will versus will. You're not gonna necessarily be able to outsmart them. There's only so many things you can do in these inclement weather. So you're gonna have to play a brand of football where they know what's coming, but you got to stop us. Like you're gonna have to play a man's game. And just go out there and execute I formation to Josh's point, get Ingle out in space and get some hats on some guys out in space and break some tackles. You got to play football.
Yeah, it's a smash mouth game written all over it. Like this is a throwback smash mouth football game is what we
Right.
should see. And you just pray that nobody gets hurt and you don't turn the ball over. And with that, you should be fine. I mean, that's in theory. I mean, it's how you draw it up. I don't know if it actually happens that way.
I wish we had Chris Berman and John Madden for the game.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
We do got Kevin Harlan on the radio call, though. I'm definitely gonna have to tune into that. Find a way to have that going while the game is going on the TV.
I'm gonna watch the game on AM. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah.
I have to find a way to listen to Chris Harlan. Tony Romo and Chris Collinsworth. If I never hit him call another game again, it'd be too soon.
I love it. All right, well, I got a jet. You guys, one last question, or
Dolphins win the game.
No, hold on. I was talking and I was muted. Give me a prediction.
Oh man. Go ahead, coach.
We got a two-parter.
Hey, French, no
part of prediction. Give me a score prediction and we're done.
Leave Josh alone, man.
23-19 Chiefs.
Breaking my heart, Josh.
Damn. Josh, I'm sorry I'm going to have to do it to you after the game, Josh. I'm going to come find you.
Oh my God.
Josh,
I hope that I'm wrong.
man.
I hope that I'm wrong. I hope by all God that I am wrong. Please believe me. But
Man.
Josh.
have you seen
Wait,
how-
hold on. Wait, we gotta see this. We gotta see this. Look who's on stage.
Yeah, get Will in here. See Will. Craziness in here.
What did I
I just
miss?
said
Hey,
I just
we're gonna-
predicted
hey.
the Chiefs to win 23-19. They didn't like it.
Oh my God.
Listen, are we gonna have like an Anchorman standoff here right now? Or what?
Not at all. Not at all. Will's too nice.
I mean, it's the beginning. You throw me out right away. The first question you asked me is who's winning.
That was Josh, man.
That was Josh's fault. Blame Josh.
I was stepping off the stage so that you could walk off, but I think he gave me the prediction. I was honest.
Do I save it or do I say it now?
Save it.
You can save it. You can save it.
You can save that, man. Save that. Hey,
Josh, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate you joining us, man. It was awesome.
My brother. I'll see you.
Hey, you got the B squad with me. Now you got the A squad with Will. So
Hey.
You guys are all A-list, man. You guys are all A-list.
Only if I pick him to win. Only if I pick him to win.
yeah, got to pick him to win. All right, crew. We'll see you from
Thanks,
Kansas
man.
City.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
All right, see you.
All right, man. Take it easy. My man.
What's up,
Talk
guys?
to me,
Now, Will.
Will.
I don't want to know what I missed. I can only imagine.
Hey, listen. Just make sure when you predict the team to win, you pick us. That's all.
Yeah. I
And it
like
better
that.
be the truth. And it better be the truth.
23 years, Will. 23 years.
My prediction is, I'm saving it, but the prediction I'm going to give you was the one that I had going in. So it is not changing because of what Josh said or vice versa. It was
Okay,
the
good.
pick that
Good.
I felt going in.
Right. All right, man. So let's start. Have you been out to practice?
I did. I was out there Monday. Yesterday we had a crew there, and today we had a crew. Today was at Panthers though. Today I went over to Panthers for a little bit pregame to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah.
But look, the feeling at practice, and I'm sure Josh talked about it because I saw him out there earlier this week, was these guys understand that they let a big opportunity slip by. And I asked Christian Wilkins about it, and he said straight up, we didn't have our 24-hour rule this week. We had like a 12-hour rule. Normally they have 24 hours to forget about a game, whether it's a win or a loss, 24 hours, enjoy it, or, feel the pain and move on. Well, this week, because of a short week and being a night game Sunday night, it was 12 hours. They were ready Monday to start focusing on KC. They know what happened, guys. They know they let a golden opportunity slip away. They know they had the division at hand and they didn't get it. And they know that it's hard to win on the road in the playoffs, and their goal of a Super Bowl to get there is going to have to go through the road for the most part. So I think the feeling is they've moved on. They're focused. They got into the tournament. They got into what they wanted to do, their goal of being in the playoffs. And now they got to find to make the most of it, because Mike McDaniel said it. He's like, nothing that we've done in the regular season matters right now. And I know it's a cliche, but it's true. That's it. It's in the past. You got to look forward.
And looking forward is exactly what we want to do. But now the narrative is the cold weather. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts overall in the perspective? It's going to be negative, 13 wind
I mean,
chills or something like that?
somewhere in the teens. I mean, it got so bad that today we brought on our weather person. I did a story on the Dolphins in the cold, and my boss was like, "Hey, bring on our meteorologist to go talk about it because it is that bad." I think it reaches a point. I'm sure Josh talked about it. You guys have talked about it, read about it. We've seen it on social media. We've heard the players say it. Cold is cold for everybody, and there is an advantage. Just like if teams come here in the dead of September and it's 89, 92 degrees with high humidity and the sweat, there's an advantage. There's an advantage for teams that are used to practicing in cold weather to play in cold weather if a team, especially if you're not used to it, is coming in. But we have reached the point now where there is no advantage to anyone. When it is 0 degrees and it is, like you said, in the teens in the wind chill, trust me, the Chiefs are not going, man, I can't wait. This is awesome. This is exactly the weather we wanted. No, they would rather take 25, 30 degrees, which is stuff they're used to practicing and playing in, and having that to me is an advantage. But once you get to this point, it's not an advantage. It hinders both teams. It can impact both teams. I think the bigger story too, I heard Zach Sealer talk about it, is that precipitation would be an issue, snow would be an issue, sleet would be an issue. None of that, as last check is in the forecast. It's just going to be really cold. Jeff Wilson said, "Cold as hell." I mean, it's going to be cold as hell, and they're all going to be cold as hell. But I think when you don't have the snow and the elements and worried about botched snaps and holding on to the football, I think at that point both teams are going to suffer through the cold and just have to deal with it.
The sentiment around this game with this kind of weather is it's going to be kind of ground and pound. Do you expect for them to pass the ball at all in this game, or do you expect it to be pretty much an old school slug it out type of game? That's what Josh is alluding to. What are you thinking on that?
I think you would think common sense, right, of just football. Okay, you run the football. That's what you need to do. Play defense, keep the game close on the road. And that, quite frankly, could be the formula if it works. I mean, if they go about running the ball, if Raheem plays and, hopefully he is back and he runs well. And obviously Achan's been just so good. We saw him the other night. He was phenomenal every time he touched the ball. He just unfortunately only touched it 10 times. I think if you run the ball, sure, that's a great formula. But guys, if we learned anything in 2 years of Mike McDaniel, is Mike McDaniel does not veer often from his plan of throwing the football. They are going to try to throw the football with Tua. They're going to try to get that passing game going, the quick reads to Tyreek, hopefully Jalen Waddle's back, whoever it may be. They are not going to veer from who they are just because it's cold. Again, I think if it was snowing, if that was an issue, maybe. But I don't think McDaniel, at least early. Now, if they have success running the football and they can build a lead and play good defense and contain Mahomes a bit, control the clock, something they were unable to do against the Bills is control the clock. I think if you could do that against KC, then sure, maybe the second half is more ground and pound. But I don't think Mike McDaniel is just going to say we're not going to throw the football because it's cold. That's just not his MO.
Hey, well, I'm going to go a little different with this one. In my mind, I think of the moments when the Dolphin players were on the sideline of the Heat games as they made that run to the finals. Snuck into the finals, the Miami Heat. The Florida Panthers snuck into the playoffs, Game 7 on the road to beat Boston to keep going. I feel like these are those moments they were courtside for. These are those moments where you got to channel everything that's great in you at this higher level of competition. So when you were seeing the Heat on the road and on a Game 3 on their home court, having the fan go on the road, and the team might have not been on the road, but just being around that championship atmosphere, I feel like these are why the guys, Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, and Xavier Howard isn't playing, but the team in general, the Wilkins, the Sealer, this is why y'all was a part of those moments as those other teams were making that run, because this is the moment we make our run. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, a name you also mentioned is Mike McDaniel. McDaniel was courtside and he was waving flags, towels around and excitement. And he firsthand saw, the difficulty of those games and those moments and the belief that the Heat had. To your point, I think it's been part of his lesson to the team this year is like to deal with adversity. There is a hill you have to climb to get to this point, right? But you don't get there until you get there. You can't cut corners on the hill. You have to grind your way to get to the top. Last year it was losing Tua before the playoffs and losing in Buffalo. This year was down the stretch, fading, and then having to go on the road again. At some point, guys, they got to climb that hill. And I think McDaniel, you mentioned those Heat experiences and seeing it firsthand. I think that though there are lessons to be learned, and the lesson is this: until you do it, you don't do it. You can't talk about things you haven't done. You have to experience it. And sometimes in those experiences come negative things, but you have to grow and build off of that. I think the Dolphins truly believe they can go into Kansas City and win. I did not sense this week it was a team that mailed it in. I did not sense this week as a team that thought, oh man, we blew it, our best football's behind us. I really genuinely think they feel this is an opportunity to show everyone that they're ready to take a step forward. I think big picture for us, right, to discuss is that the missed opportunity was a road to the Super Bowl that had a path through home, right? Like win the division, have at least 2 games at home, have an opportunity to go on the road for an AFC title game. That's gone. It's in the past. But they could change the narrative with a win on the road, and they know what's on the line.
All right. Hey, Will, thank you for your time once again, man. Quick question. I know you could pick an easy answer, Jalen Ramsey and all these cool names, but I need your X factor. You seen the guys in practice. Who's bringing the vibe? Who has the guys running? Who's making sure, hey, you line up over here, you line up over there, and let's go get this W. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's your guy?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's so hard to sense in the minutes that we get of practice. But I will say, the time we get in the locker room and the attitude, there is a positive nature to this team. Raheem is a guy that hasn't played in a couple of weeks, but there is a real nature in him of bringing guys together. I would love to see him back because I think that energy that he brings is contagious when he plays more so than when he does it. You know, you see it on the field when he gets up after an 8-yard run and he runs over a linebacker. The passion they go around, they missed that. They kind of missed that the last couple of weeks. That energy that you get. I mentioned Christian Wilkins. Wilkins was straight up with his guys. He's a guy that he's not always considered like a leader type, but when he makes a play the way he did the other day against Josh Allen, he strips the football and sacks him at the same time. These are the guys that have to make those plays. So because it's the type of game I think we expect it to be, if the Dolphins can run the football, if Raheem can be healthy enough to play and they run the football effectively, I think his energy is contagious. Everybody's going to say, all right, Tua. We've seen enough of Tua now in his career. Tua is a great quarterback. And when he is going and he's cooking, he's as good as anybody. But leadership-wise, he's not an in-your-face, rah-rah guy. He's going through and he's making his plays, making his reads, moving the offense, working it. But you need that energy. And I think a guy like Raheem, if he can play, man, if he can go out there and get 12, 15 carries, hammer away 5-6 yards a carry, get those tough runs that he gets in between the tackles, burst one now and then, along with Achane, I think that energy is the type of stuff that can really spark the Dolphins.
Go ahead, Junior.
No, I was pointing to you. I know you were going to say something. Go ahead.
No. What I was just going to say that I'm curious to see, or get your perspective, Will. Something that we talked about with Josh is that I expect them to, like we've talked about here already, I expect them to run the ball and really attack that 19th ranked defense in Kansas City because the weather conditions are not going to be, I know that Mike wants to throw the ball and he wants all that, but it's not going to be something where we're going to see a 50-yard, 60-yard pass to Tyreek or Waddle if he ends up playing. Josh was just telling us that he personally doesn't think that Waddle.
I don't think so either. Yeah, he didn't look good at practice. The little we saw of practice this week, and I watched some of the video tonight that our photographer shot. He was not moving well. I don't think he's going to play. Could he tough it out? That game day, game time decision. The energy's going. He plays, sure. But even if he does, I don't think we're going to see the Jalen Waddle we're used to.
Yeah. So then let me
go ahead.
I apologize. So then let me ask you, based on what you've seen in practice, who are the receivers you felt are showing a little motivation to prove that they can step up and be the guy to replace Waddle and be an impact of some sort in your mind?
And that's the problem. There is no replacing Jalen Waddle, and you could sit there, you could say Cedric Wilson can make a play for you. And he's made a couple this year. He's had some moments this year where he's made a play. He had the early touchdown against Baltimore before things got out of hand. Braxton is a guy that they try to use in the slot now and then. They went to a couple times last week, but it didn't really. He got one first down, but then it was that 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 where he only got a yard. I think when you really look at their ability there, it's just that Chase Claypool, they ran out there the other day and they're in the worst of times, and there was the interception right at the end of the game. There is no replacing Jalen Waddle. And I hate to say it because we know it. It's going to come down a lot to what Tyreek can do, man. And he is banged up. He is not 100%. He is toughing it through. And then forget the mental side of everything. He talked today about the fire. He hasn't even been back home. The fire in his home. Like sometimes we forget these guys are human because they have $100 million contracts and you know are superstars and all this stuff. The guy's house, part of it burned down. He's not even home since then. It's over $2 million in damages. And he talked today about a lot of like mementos and things that he worked hard on through the years are gone. I'm sorry, man. That's tough on your head mentally to get ready for football games. So it's a lot to say like it's on Tyreek Hill, but it really, you rode those guys here, right? Who are the guys we've talked about so far? Tua, Tyreek, Raheem, Achane. That's really the window of offense you need. And another thing we have to remember too, guys, KC offensively hasn't been that good this year. They haven't been the juggernaut they've been in the past. It's not like the old days of maybe the last 3 or 4 or 5 years of Patrick Mahomes, where you're going in weather or no weather and you need 30 points. I think you can win with 20, 21 points in this game if you play the game right. Now, if the Chiefs go out and have flashback like old times and put up 30 points, I don't think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I just don't think they're capable right now of having that kind of offense given all the injuries.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot to be made of Tyreek's return to Kansas City, and it's like a big story and all that. But like for me going into this football game, I really don't care about any of that. Like Tyreek should allow the team to do their part in making that dream of getting that revenge happen and allow Mostert and Achane and these guys to get going. And because he's not going to be able to do it by himself right now, especially in this weather. The conditions aren't there for his dream scenario to happen. You know what I mean? So like, let's just get this win by any means necessary. And if it's got to be ugly, I don't care if he has 15 yards and 2 to 3 catches. You know what I mean? Well, we hope that it's more, right? But however we can get it done, let's get it done. And I think a great way to do that is to get Achane going because he wasn't available the last time. The way he's been running in Mostert's absence, I think there's going to be some opportunities for them together combined to collectively, control the clock and make key first downs and key plays and to get these guys in a position where maybe they can pull the upset on the road. So, I mean, what are you thinking that Miami's game plan should be offensively, just trying to, get it done? Are you in agreement with that? We should just need to kind of ground and pound it?
Yes, I do think that should be part of the plan, but I will say this, guys, and we've seen it every game Tyreek has played. He has to make one big play. And unfortunately, the last few weeks, those big plays have been big drops. And but even injured, even with blanketed coverage, he's open. He gets opportunities to make a big play. There will be a play in this game, even though we don't think there will be. There will be an opportunity at some point in this game where Tyreek can bust a 50 or 60-yard play. That's just the way he's built. That's how good he is. He's got to make it, though. When he gets that opportunity, he's got to make that one game-changing play. It's not fair to say, hey, go out there and make it 2, 3, 4 times. I mean, it's just, there's too much coverage, too much attention on him, and especially with no Waddle, if there's no Waddle, too much attention directed at Tyreek. But, guys, there's going to be an opportunity. We've seen it week in and week out. We even saw it last week when he wasn't 100%, maybe didn't play his best. We saw it against Baltimore, the early touchdown that really kind of changed the game that would have put the Dolphins up, by a touchdown early. Those are plays he has to make. So your game plan, I think, is certainly part of the equation, but I don't think there's any game plan where the Dolphins can win this game where Tyreek doesn't make at least one big play. It's going to have to be there.
Well, let me ask you this really quick. And I hate to use this analogy, but seeing as though the last kind of play you've seen of Jalen Waddle was kind of in that national championship, kind of being used as a decoy to help keep that offense moving, is that something we possibly can see, even if he's not able to give it a full slate running those routes and getting the ball? Could we see him out there maybe as just a decoy, as a number on the field to keep some eyes away from or keep the defense honest?
If he's loose and he can warm up, and I do think, look, given that he was listed as questionable and they don't practice tomorrow, they travel, and then Saturday's obviously the game. It's not a Sunday game. That extra day would have helped. That would have been nice. But I do think that they'll see how he feels, and I think they've done that throughout. But I will say this, to your point with Josh, I didn't hear what Josh said, but saying that he didn't look good or they didn't think he'd play, that has been the feeling all week at practice. And I think any report you've seen, again, we don't watch every second of practice. We can't be there for every second of practice, but you can tell if a guy's moving well or not, even in 10, 15, 20 minutes, and he hasn't been moving well. So if he's loosened up and somehow in that cold he can move and cut, then yeah, I think you give it a go, because what are you saving him for at this point? Last week it was different. You knew you had a playoff thing coming up regardless of result. This week we know that if they lose, it's over. So if they feel medically he can't make it worse, serious to the point of a surgery or things like that, which, there's no indication. This is a sprain. This is an issue that we know with high ankles are tricky. So I would agree with you. But I just don't know the way he's been moving and the way his inability to cut. I don't really know what good he does you out there, because the team will see right through it. The Chiefs will see that he's not himself.
Vic Fangio, he said he took a sabbatical last year. He said he took a long time to watch the NFL, learn the game. He even consulted the Eagles, but that was the offensive view or whatnot. Nobody has a clear indication of what he did there. Mm-hmm. He did say he came up with new concepts, and all of us are waiting for Jalen Ramsey to tap that out and explore that. Does he have anything to the Chiefs that he hasn't done all year? Because the game plan we have for the Chiefs, it worked perfectly. To me, it was the blunder at the end with the fumble, but it was a great game plan.
All right, look, the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs that we know of. We talked about it earlier. It's different in prepping for this Chiefs team. Mahomes had one of his worst seasons. He still had an excellent season, but when you look at statistically what he was able to do, I mean, he threw a lot of interceptions, made a lot of mistakes, tried to force things. I think the biggest issue for them, and I've been waiting for a month plus now, and I know everybody talks about the Taylor Swift stuff, and it's funny, but I don't know what's going on with Travis Kelce. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's Taylor Swift. It's obviously not that, but Travis Kelce has not been the Travis Kelce we're used to. I mean, he's the kind of guy that would go out there and get 10 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Even if you knew the ball was coming his way, they haven't had that connection. I don't know if it's coming. I don't know if it's ready. I don't know if that's what we'll see. I do think when you're Vic Fangio, though, and you are attacking this team, given the lack of weapons, Kadarius Toney's been so up and down, more down than up. Ross is questionable as well. They're dealing with issues. They don't have a guy that's just like, okay, Rashee Rice, I like what he's become. I like what he's grown as a young player throughout the year. But even so, it starts with Kelce. You have to blanket him. You can't give him room to get open in the middle of the field, because if you could do that and get Mahomes running around with pressure, when he starts going crazy running around the pocket, in the old days he'd make those plays because there's guys running free. Those guys aren't running free anymore. So you gotta get to Mahomes and force him into those mistakes. And I think that will be there. The wild card, the X factor guys that maybe we haven't discussed yet is Isaiah Pacheco. That guy runs like a beast, man. He's tiny, but man, he can run. And in a game where we talk about the ground and pound of the Dolphins, this is a guy that, as small as he is, can bruise you and can hit you and can run 15, 18 carries and break one and really wear you down to allow those chances for Kelce. So it starts with there. Blanket Kelce and stop Pacheco, and I like the Dolphins' chances. I've got to think that's where Fangio's looking.
And not only that, Pacheco is really good as a pass catcher too. Yeah. I think they had I forgot the game that the Bengals game, he was very effective as a pass catcher. So that's something. And Duke Riley is a guy that more than likely might be someone he faces. So those are the type of situations that, we need to make sure we're on our P's and Q's. So I don't know if we're able to ask this now. What in your mind is going to take for the Dolphins to win, and what in your mind is going to take for the Chiefs to win, and what is your prediction?
For me, from a Dolphins perspective, it's this. Tua cannot turn the ball over. It's consecutive games with multiple turnovers. We've seen it already in this kind of game that I expect it to be close regardless, that teams are going to play close to the vest because of the weather and do all this kind of stuff. You cannot have a game where Tua turns the ball over. You just can't. I think if they do that, they give themselves a better chance. As I mentioned earlier, Tyreek has to make at least one big play. He has to have a big play somewhere in the game. I don't think they can win the game without him making a game-changing play. Does that mean it has to be a 70-yard touchdown? No, but at least has to be a play where it's deep down the field, make a play, get them in range to score. And then finally, they have to contain Mahomes. They got to force him mistakes. They can't let him run around with his legs. One thing Mahomes is very capable of is beating you with his legs, extending drives. We saw it with Josh Allen last week. They cannot do that. And I think that the Chiefs are going to look to do that. It's going to be part of their plan is get Mahomes moving. Don't let him be a sitting duck back there. Give him time to find somebody open, and then, yes, run with Pacheco. Guys, I'm going to give you my prediction, and again, this has nothing to do with what Josh said. This is what I really feel. I think this is the year that the Chiefs finally show that they're human. I don't think a full body of work of a season of them being so inconsistent and not really having impressive wins is a fluke. I think it is a trend. And I think the Dolphins, if they do those things, like Tua comes out, he's throwing picks, and they're fumbling the ball over the place, and they fall behind, and that crowd and that cold is over. But if they play their kind of game, I think the Dolphins win 20-17. I think they could win a close game. That's what I think is going to happen. Look, again, we could be texting each other and chatting Monday. What a mess. They had turned the ball over the first 2 times and they lost, 27-7, and that's the season. But I think the formula is there and the setup is there to win.
Hey, como dicen los cubanos, ese es mi primo. Ese es mi primo.
Yeah, that's the energy we need. Yeah,
If they lose, we're not related.
23 years.
No, you go. 23 years you waiting for this, man. You crazy. You better
Guys, it's time. This team has made too many steps in the last couple of years to progress that even in the downs of this year at the end, they've got to win a playoff game this year. I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not sitting here telling you they're winning more than one playoff game, but I think the formula is there to win this one.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
There you go, Will. There you go, Will.
French, give me a second, French. Hold on. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So, if the Dolphins lose this playoff game, would you consider this season to be a failure?
Yeah, I would. I would because
and why, obviously.
And because last year was the step forward, and then last year it's not even an excuse. You can blame the fact that Tua got hurt and the uncertainty with Tua going to the playoffs, but they built something. They showed that McDaniel's offense could work and that Tua is kind of the perfect quarterback for it. This year, everything was clicking, man. They were talking 1 seed up until a month ago. Everything was going the direction of winning the AFC East, and then the falter late, but they're still in position to win a game and improve upon last year after 11 wins this year to get 1 win in the playoffs. If they don't, then it's just straight. It's lateral. There's not improvement. And in the NFL, when things change so fast and with salary cap, and we know they're going to be up against the cap depending on the decision they make on Tua long term, which I do think he's their quarterback in the present and future. But eventually, this offseason, if they lose, right, and it's over, do you play out Tua on his 5th-year option? Do you go out and you give him a contract? Are you going to have some sort of an issue with a holdout before the season? What about other guys that are free agents? Christian Wilkins is likely going to walk. What are you going to do with guys like that, the veterans like X and things like that? I mean, there are a lot of questions. This team is built for now. So if they don't win a playoff game, it's disappointing, and it's definitely not a successful season based on what they thought was going to happen.
Fair enough. French, you want to add your soliloquy here?
15,000 question. You got it, French. You good? This guy has it.
Okay. All right. I will. Listen, man, I know it's late. I see the fan back there. I want to appreciate from all of us. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight.
My pleasure. My pleasure, guys. I'm hoping that we can talk down the road this season, not in the off season, that we'll have a reason to talk in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir.
Playoff win.
Let's go.
All right, guys.
Before
Enjoy
you
it.
go,
Oh my God.
No, tell me what's up.
Oh my God.
the show goes on, baby. We're not going nowhere.
That's the energy they need. That's the energy they need.
Will.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thanks again, man. Have a good night, man.
My pleasure.
Let's go.
Hey man, my man's had a whole outfit change and all that, man.
I know. You believe it? He went back to the wardrobe and came back, bro. That's just wild.
Great show, gentlemen. Yo, man, great show. Good stuff.
What do you guys? Let's get some closing thoughts and we'll get out of here.
Well, let me just start here.
Absolutely.
Because you're a French mechanic now. It's a thing.
Listen, it's not like nothing can explain the feeling I have, and I'm sure you guys are having the same feeling of how important it is to finally get a win in the playoffs. It is so important for us. And, call it desperation, call it whatever you want. But this year, we have a chance to prove to people yet again to beat a narrative. We've been beating narratives all year for the most part. And
you got a phone call? I mean,
go outside and hold your phone up, man.
I had a phone call.
Is that Mint Network? That's that Mint Network?
That Mint Network. Listen. The Peppermint Network. All I want to say is let's go out there and get the dub. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man,
Man,
listen,
listen, it's a long time coming, bro. We worked hard for this. We grinded hard for this. We fought hard for this as fans. The team has grinded hard. You put in all this work all off season, all through the season. You watched all this film for what? To make this moment right here come to fruition. You're in position now where you're in the dance. Nothing else matters before this. All the regular season woes, the road games, the home games against teams above 5. None of that matters. Everybody's right now 0-0. The only thing that matters is getting this dub, bro. It's been too long. We gotta get it done.
Go ahead, French. You're on mute. You muted yourself. It's insane.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is this: we got Uno, we got Tyree, we got Moser, we got Engel, we got Smythe, we got Sealer, we got Wilkins, we got all the pieces we need to get it done. All I want to know, who's gonna step up? In Miami, we have a saying: big time players step up in big time moments. Hey, what's up? What's up? Who gonna be the hero? Engel. Who gonna get up? And I'm not talking about somebody catching the ball. Who gonna block? Who gonna sacrifice on the defense? Who gonna stop that? Because you know what they're gonna do. Mahomes gonna throw it to the flat, and he gonna want to hit you on the crossing route. I need somebody. Duke Riley, get up on him. Let's get it. Sealer, I've been riding with you all season. I need 3 sacks. Wilkins, one team said dominate. We need to dominate. Let's go. They said we ain't supposed to be here. We got to take it. That's why I changed up. I had to put the hoodie on.
Ooh.
What?
We got to take it. Ain't nothing given. We on the road. Snoop said we know where we at. KC. Y'all know we're going to barbecue. Let's go.
You know.
Wow. How are you gonna follow up with that one, man?
I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna go into.
Let's go.
Man, relax. Yeah. I need to calm down. You know what I mean? Just go play football, man. Complimentary football. I mean, that's all we gotta do. Play complimentary football. We
got Denzel talking here.
You know what I'm talking about? Play complimentary football.
Jason Sanders. I need 2 field goals.
Listen, I don't need no field goals. I need tutties. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I need a dub. I need a dub. That's what I need.
I need all the points.
Give me a dub. I don't care who does what. Give me a dub.
7-6, 9-6, 3-0. I don't care.
Jason Sanders wins us the game. Let's go.
2-0. Let's go. Let's get it. Whatever it takes.
Baseball score. Let's go.
Fans for the win, man. Fans for the win.
We going to church?
For the win.
You gonna take on the church?
You guys want to go to church, bro?
Gotta go to church, man. It's playoffs, baby.
But it's not Sunday yet. Why? How are you gonna go?
Yeah, come on, man.
Listen.
You don't gotta go as a Haitian American boy, listen, you go to church 4 to 5 times a week. You know what I mean?
4 to 5 times a week.
I think I have to hear it. He going to church with that.
We gotta get Chad some bunny ears or something, bro.
We gonna hook him up with that Mint Mobile. Don't worry about it. We gonna hook him up.
Hey, and we'll get you a sponsor. Hey, shout out Mint Mobile. You gonna get Mint Mobile as the sponsor.
Hey, Mint Mobile.
Hey, shout out to Mint Mobile. If you want the exclusive get the peppermint.
By the way, this show is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink.
Get my man that Mint Mobile, my boy.
Shout out to Mint Mobile. You, why pay that high AT&T bill? You can get reliable service with half the cost. Mint Mobile.
Shout out to the viewers. Shout out to Will. Shout out to Josh.
We'll be back next week with another show. Division round. We ain't going home. We ain't going home.
We'll be back. Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks to our guests. We love y'all. Thanks for the support. We'll be here. We're here today. We were here before, and we'll be here tomorrow.
We ain't going nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere. Because we inside, baby.
Let's go.